What's up, guys and gals? It's your host, the Chris Donaldson here, and welcome to the Chris Donaldson Project. We have some unfinished business to discuss, and today it's going to be all about leadership. This is kind of another one of those project or special episodes where we're going to take something from a talk that I did live and give you guys an opportunity to listen. And it's something that's near and dear to my heart. And so this is perfect for Throwback Thursday, because in this specific talk, it's now a couple of years old, where I was speaking to a group of church leaders, and we were just talking about the idea of leadership, time management, and some essential elements of leadership that we all go through to help them get over the hump. And this is where, if you've ever seen me post about you've got to have goals and you've got to have guts, this is where that came from. And what I was explaining is the concept of the leader has to know the way and has to show the way and has to stick their foot in the ground and have the guts to continue when you know it's the right path. So take a listen to this. Let me know what you guys think. It was, again, in front of a live audience. I was running around a really wide room, but I'm hoping you guys get a lot out of this, especially if you're in a leadership position, because I am too, and I understand the battles that you fight, both internally and externally. So my hope is that this helps you along. So let me know what you guys think. Enjoy this leadership talk. Thank you so much. Everybody can hear me okay all the way to the back? Everybody's good? Yeah. Just want to make sure, because I'm not mic'd. I usually don't need one, but I just wanted to verify. Lunch looked pretty good. Y'all should be all settled in with it. Ready for nap time, right? Yeah. I know, I've been doing this a long time. The session right after lunch is the toughest one, because your body's going, it's time to sleep. But there's no time to sleep. So just out of curiosity, by a raise of hands, how many of you have ever said this? And let's just say recently. I would love to do that, but I don't have the time. Or there's no way I can do that because there's not enough hours in the day. How often do we say that, right? And when you're in a leadership role, you say it more, don't you? Because when it comes to leadership, one of the things that I can tell you right off the top is that my theory on leadership is very simple, and that it's serving leadership. The difference between what I think are great leaders and those that struggle a bit is the idea of who works for who. And when you're a leader, you work for everyone else. Which means everyone else's problems are yours to solve. Everyone else's issues are yours to take care of. It all starts at the top, does it not? And so what we need to understand that all of us have heard is I could probably use my time a little bit better. I could probably manage my time a little bit better. So let me tell you where I'm coming from. And then what I'd like to do is to actually give you some tips and some strategies that will make your time a thing that you don't worry about as much. And I'll tell you why. Because we call it time management, but really it's stress management. It's happiness management. That's what it is, because it all relates to how much time we have, or a lot, to what's important. So let me give you a little background. Just by a show of hands, I will not be offended. How many of you have heard of our company, Donaldson Educational Services, just out of curiosity? Cool. We are a local company. We started right here in the New Orleans area. We have grown, and we've got programs that we offer all throughout the country. So I can tell you, just from my perspective, as we have grown, the demands on my time have increased, ratchet up, ratchet up, ratchet up. So I know what it feels like. And so a little bit of background on just where I come from real quick if you don't know our story. We are a humble family business. And I believe in family businesses for a lot of different reasons, but one of them is they are the backbone of the United States of America. I mean, we came over here, our country began with farmers that were family businesses, right? Everything kind of rooted from the family shop. That's the idea. And so real quick, just to let you know how I kind of came into this, I'm an independent spirit a bit. And when I went to college, don't judge me for this, but I studied political science. I was not getting into the family business. This is not something I was interested in doing because I wanted to shape my own path. It's not that there was anything wrong with it. I just knew from a very early age I was an independent spirit, was going to look at things differently. And so my father, when he was running this company, he had a very important theory that he took to extremes, which was, when I work, and when I play. Do not bother me when I'm playing. And I'll give you a background story on how serious he was about that. In the mid-1990s, he looked into diversifying his business. And one of the things that he did was that he bought fast food restaurants and got into that business in addition to the education business. He had 3 restaurants in the Riverwalk. So in the Riverwalk, if you got a hot dog, you bought it from him. If you got Mexican food, you bought it from him. The nachos were awesome. When I was punished, I had to work there, so trust me, I know. And the burgers. So the way the Riverwalk worked, you know, they had 1 restaurant of every type. So I'll fast forward a little bit. When he bought those restaurants, the man that he bought it from, this is a true story, told him, this is great cash flow, it's going to be a great business. The only thing that could possibly go wrong is like if a boat hits the Riverwalk. Well, so if you're familiar with this story, this is absolutely true. He's on vacation with his girlfriend at the time, which is now my stepmother, who I adore. And one of the things I will tell you is he was in New York City. They were doing Broadway plays. The bright side hits the Riverwalk. So he's on playtime. He gets the emergency call from his general manager, and he's thinking like all of you, well, what do you want me to do? And you are there to handle it. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm going back to the play, and then that was it. I mean, there's nothing he could do about it. This is where it's stranger than fiction. He gets out of the play, they go back to their hotel is on fire. True story. So, he doesn't know where his restaurants are, maybe in the Mississippi River. His hotel's on fire, but even then, he didn't cut his vacation off. He stayed there, said, this is playtime, I need this. That's taking it to extremes, right? And the reason I tell you that is, let's fast forward to 2005. An event that we all know very well, Katrina, right? Yeah. Let me show you how weird timing is and how it puts people in excellent places. Okay? In 2005, I was just a senior in college, and I did not work in the family business except for some freelance work, internet things here and there that Dad needed. But for the most part, I was preparing for my future life in business, politics, whatever I was going to do. You know, I was a senior in college. You're not really sure what you're going to do yet. And if everybody remembers, when Katrina hit on Sunday, early Monday morning, the newscast, we survived. Do y'all remember that? Everything's okay. New Orleans has made it through. Well, guess what? Him and Karen were heading on a vacation that day. They flew out early Monday morning before the levees broke. Now here's what I want you guys to understand. This was their dream vacation. They planned this for 10 years. Wow. It was a boat, and they were going to be in the Caribbean, off the radar on purpose. And the reason I tell you that is, when the levees broke, and all of us have our Katrina stories, the one thing I'll tell you is the family business was in shambles. Nobody was there. My dad did not know the levees had broken. He had a general manager that could not be contacted. We didn't know where our employees were, and I cannot tell you why. But as a senior in college, I just rushed in, picked up the pieces, and did what our company needed to survive. I say our company, it wasn't even mine, but somebody had to do it. And so, all I can say is leaders have something inside of them that you cannot really explain. Because I was a college kid, I could have said, look, I'm going to this party, I'm going to do that, it's not my problem, but I just did it. And I'll never forget, I was texting Dad frantically going, Dad, I think you need to cut your vacation short. Like, this is one of those things you should cut your, and he's like, I'm not coming home, leave me alone. I'm like, Dad, like the building's flooded, not a big, he couldn't wrap his head around it. So I set up a Baton Rouge office, got everything rerouted through there, kept the business going. When he comes back, he takes back over, I go finish school. And the reason I give you that story is it's right then that I realized two things. Leaders do what needs to be done regardless if it's actually their job.
Yeah.
And the second thing is life just has a funny way of telling you where you're supposed to be. And you gotta listen. And so right then and there, politics basically went out the window. I said, this is what I want to do. I want to help other people, because one of the greatest responsibilities that we have is that when we wake up every day, what we do in our business is we actually help provide jobs. We are in the career industry. So what we do really matters to people. We turn people's lives around. I'm not trying to romanticize it, it's real. Anybody that wants to get into the 7 industries that we operate within, they now have a job. So it's my job as a leader to do whatever I can to make all of that make sense. So if you can identify with any of those things that I just said, then let's go back to the initial question, which is, we all say, I just don't have the time. Or I'm stressed out because there's not enough hours in the day. And to show you how this came into being, my 30th birthday was the worst birthday of my life so far. And the reason I say that is it's absurd as it sounds. I took 30 terribly. I didn't have a party. I didn't like it. I went out of town. I just didn't want to deal with 30. And the reason I say that is because I took a lot of pride on being the 20-something kid that was playing in the sandbox with the adults and winning. That was kind of part of my identity. So when I turned 30, this is what happened. I haven't done so many things that I want to do. And when I turned 30, it was my light bulb for, I need to figure out what I'm doing with my time and what's most important to me. And so what I want you guys to understand is that was my moment in time where I realized that time management, ironically, is actually a myth. This is why it's a myth. Time management is a universal principle. It's a term that we all use. But what I want you guys to understand is you can't save time. We can't make more time. There's no way. That's not how it works. So for me, turning 30 was, I have all of these aspirations, all these things, and I'm running out of time. And so I realized, first and foremost, I needed to know what was most important. And then I needed to marry everything around the time that I have available to me around what's most important. So if you want to understand my theory on managing time, it starts with a very important principle. You need a vision for what your most important purpose is, and then number 2, and then number 3, and guess what? That's where you're going to provide the majority of your time. So the idea of having goals and knowing what's most important. As an example, for some people it's the idea of work-life balance. And it's important to them that they can work hard and that they can have a life too. So you know what? You need to know what your goals are for both. What's important to me at work? What do I need to get done? What's important to me in my personal life? My family life, that I don't want to go by the wayside. And so what it starts with for everyone is to take a few moments, a few hours, a week, and just think, what is most important? Because when you begin by prioritizing what's important to you and what you want out of your life, then time management becomes a lot easier. Because then you know where you're actually wasting time, where you're losing time, where your time should probably be better spent. And so to understand for everyone to manage time, it's based on what you want. Right? If you're an entrepreneur that's building a business and you want your business to reach a certain level of success, well then you need to understand that in your working hours, that would be what is going to produce and grow the business. That's my most important thing every day. Everything else can wait. And so what I'm going to show you are some important tasks and some specific systems or pieces of our system that can help you. Because guys, this is a 4-hour class that I offer on a normal basis. So I'm giving you the high points today because we really get down and dirty in this class and really make you think about yourself and how you're spending your time. So if you want to really get something out of a time management seminar, you really want to manage your time better, you need goals and then you need guts. And this is why you need guts. Because you have to have the guts and the discipline to do what you have to do to accomplish your goals. If you only work when you want to work, you will not get it done. If you only leave when you feel like leaving, you will not leave. You're not going to feel like it every day. You're not going to want to every day. So you've got to have the goals, and then you've got to have the guts. So what I want you guys to understand is, it becomes a calling. You wake up every day. Guys, let me tell you how it works just for me in private business. It's very simple. If I don't wake up every day and produce, people may not have a job. Their job depends on, if you understand business, I get paid last. Once all the bills are paid, all of my employees are paid, and everything has been paid, if there's money left over, then I get paid. That's how it works. So if I don't wake up and produce, there's a lot of people depending on me. That's obligation, right? That's having the guts. You think I feel like it every day? Of course not. It becomes discipline. It becomes part of who you are. Here's the second piece of guts. If you really want to have a happier, stress-free, more effective leadership role, you've got to have the guts to analyze how you're spending your time and be 100% honest with yourself. So start with one day. Try it. I challenge everyone in this room to try it for one 24-hour period and to meticulously mark what you're doing with your time every minute of that day. What time did you wake up? How long did it take you to get ready? When were you checking your emails? How often are you on your cell phone? Be as meticulous as you possibly can. That takes guts. Because you know what? You're going to find stuff that's going to shame you. Yeah. If you're honest with yourself, you're going to have the guts to say, for instance, like me, Chris, you are seriously spending an hour and a half a day researching your fantasy football team? Because the first time I did this, that was a glaring example. Especially because the guys love fantasy football, but everybody's into it now, right? And I can tell you, it becomes, because I like information, and I'm competitive, and I don't want to lose, and I realized I was spending so much time researching. I mean, I knew what was going on with Mark Ingram's left toe before he did. So it became obvious when I logged in, I went, dude, you can back that down to 15 minutes, right? And then I've got another hour and 15 minutes or so a day to do something that's more important. So if you have the guts to track your time, you'll be able to instantly, easily cut the fat. Eliminate the stuff that is wasting time from what is important. I'll give you an example in the modern generation. I'm like the front end of the millennials, so I love to talk about millennials. Any millennials in here, we have like a bad rap, right? Everybody thinks we're buried in our cell phones, we don't care, right? All this kind of stuff. Well, one of the things I will tell you about getting meticulous with time and really figuring out time wasters and goals and putting it all together was, I had to have the guts to go, you know what? That Netflix can wait. Like, I don't have to sit down and watch Game of Thrones for 8 straight hours because I get into it. Look at it and reverse, the magic of technology is you can watch TV when you have the time. You never have to do it.
Right.
So if it's a rainy weekend afternoon and you've gotten everything done that week, then you can pop on the Netflix. But do not tell somebody, I don't have the time to do X, but you watched 17 hours of Netflix last week. You saw every episode of Honey Boo Boo twice. There's some guilty people in this room, right? It depends on the show, right? Indians Empire. There's so many more shows. You get locked into it, don't you? And it's okay. I want you guys to understand you don't have to only work and never play. It's about what's important to you. But if you say, I don't have the time to do X, but if I looked at your Netflix account, looked at your log of time, or your Xbox and saw how much video game time, or whatever it is, you're going to instantly figure out, okay, maybe I do have the time. I had to do it. The two things for me were fantasy football and Netflix. I realized I didn't have to watch 14 documentaries on World War II when I was in the mood. I could maybe just watch one and then get back to work. Y'all follow me there? It takes guts. But it starts with goals. I had to know what was most important. I had to know what our company needed, what I need, because don't be afraid to understand you need certain things to be effective and happy as well. If you are miserable and unsettled, it's very difficult to lead. So I'm going to talk about some things where it's okay, as part of your schedule, to take time for yourself. And I'm going to suggest that's how you start every day. Now we'll get into that. That's the me time. Then comes everybody else's time. Because for the rest of the day, I am on everybody else's time. Everybody with me so far? Yes. All right. So here's the deal. When you set those goals, you then need to prioritize those goals. You need to have a vision for your life, and then you need to be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Literally put a number as to what's most important. Because then, on a daily basis, you'll be able to assess, am I doing something related to what's most important? Because one of the things we talk about in business, when I train real estate agents, one of the things we talk about all the time is the importance from business growing activity to support activity to nothing activity. Because one of the things we can all do in life is be busy all day long and get nothing done. Anybody ever had a day like that? Like you're so busy you look like the President of the United States of America, but you got nothing done. I know tons of people like that. There's lots of 9-to-5 employees, man. They can look busy from 9 to 5, but then when the boss says, why didn't we get this done? I didn't have the time. Huh? It's about prioritizing. It's about understanding what's most important, and then everything else can come later. And I'm going to show you how technology has actually gotten in people's way because they've forgotten what technology is there to do. So time management, I want everybody to understand, is not a new problem. But right now, 2016, it's a new age problem. Because technology has made life more stressful for most when it's supposed to make it easier for us all. And so I'm going to talk specifically about that because I think it's extremely important. So let me give you some highlights. A few important tips that come out of my time management system that I think would be relevant to this group. System tip number 1 is an oldie but a goodie, but we can really dial in. And that's to operate in specific blocks of time. Learn to block off your schedule. And do not let others in during your appropriate block of time. For instance, if you have to write a speech or you have to give a talk to a group, how many of you have to do that, right? You are the only ones that can understand the difficulty that comes with that. Everybody sees the result, you know, the 15-minute talk you gave and all of the great information. They didn't see the hours of research and thinking and time that you took in order to put that together, right? And so what I want you guys to understand is if I have to write a leadership speech, and this is the most important thing for me this week, I'm going to block it off in my schedule. And then when I block it off, I want everybody to understand this. Nothing gets in the way. No emails, no cell phone, no office visits. Do not be afraid to close the door to your office and put up a sign. I'm going to tell you how ridiculous I am. My staff knows this, and they think it's ridiculous, but it's necessary. I have a simple piece of red paper. When I'm writing, or I'm researching, or I'm recording, because I record things like podcasts and online seminars, I put up that piece of red tape. That red paper. And that means, do not bother Chris unless the building is burning down. It's 2 hours, sometimes 3 hour block of time. You know what? If it's not an emergency, it can wait a couple of hours because it's not the most important thing. This is the most important thing. And so if you set the goals, then you know what your priority is. Then you can set up your blocks of time. So here in wonderful New Orleans, where every day is a festival, there is always something to get in the way. Allow me to give you a system that I think you can work when you're blocking out your time. Start with the fun and work backwards. Let me tell you how this works. For me, because I basically work 24/7, my goal, and I don't always accomplish it, but one of my goals so that I can be fresh and happy and remind myself what I'm working for is to try to take a vacation once a quarter. Could be as little as 4 days, as much as a week and a half. So I start by blocking that off. That sets the tone for the rest of the quarter. I know how much I have to work, what my hours are going to look like, but that vacation's blocked off, and when it's time to go, I've got to do it, because if I don't refresh myself, and I don't take just a few minutes, a few days away, whether it's the beach, whether it's skiing, whatever it is, then I'm not going to be able to lead at the level that I need to, because we're all human. Our mind and our energy are depleted resources. You've got to be able to recharge them. It's very important. So if there's a festival you just love, like, I don't know, Jazz Fest, and you know you got to go and you got to see this one act, this one day, block it off now, and then all the things you've got to do, get them done beforehand. There's no better vacation than when you know you got everything done. Then you can actually relax. So if you start with the fun and then work backwards, you'll know everything you got to do so that you can have that wonderful vacation, stress-free. You will not be the person checking their email on the beach. Because it's not necessary. So take your blocks of time very seriously. As an example, if family time is very important to you, then block it off every day. Have a period of time that's standard, like this is my 2 hours, just as using an example. With my family, we have dinner, and then I play with my children. Nothing's going to get in the way of this. It's blocked on my schedule. So you put your blocks on your schedule, and then you stick to them. Stick to them. You'll be able to see how, man, if I just put it all together and say, this is the order I'm going to do things, you instantly become more efficient. You are going to find that you do have the time. Because your schedule stares at you. It's always there. And so the last suggestion about blocking off time is keep your schedule, your to-do list, your priorities, all of that in the same place. So it doesn't matter to me how you do it. If you're a technology person, like I am, it's in my pocket. It's in the cloud. Wherever I am is my schedule, my to-do list, my goals, and my visions for that quarter. They're with me all the time. If your to-do list is on a sticky note, and then your goals are on a pad at home, and then your schedule is on a meeting planner at the office, you're creating more stress by trying to find everything and keeping it in one place. So try to centralize everything. If you're a paper person, have one planner. It all goes in there. And carry it around with you. If you're a technology person, use your phone for what it was built for. Take advantage of free apps and all the technology that's out there to help you. As an example, how technology can help you, when I was trying to wean myself off of the accidental fantasy football time, I downloaded a program on my computer that after 10 minutes cut the website off and I could not get it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's having guts. Because I knew it was going to be a hard habit to break. So if I was like searching ESPN.com 10 minutes later, sorry Chris, you're not being productive. You can't go to ESPN.com for 8 hours. Guess what? After a few days, it wasn't a big deal anymore. Change is hard. But it starts by having the guts to know what's important, to analyze what are you actually doing with your time. And then setting apart blocks of time, which I think is the most important system, especially for a leader that has lots of things to do. Now, let me get into one of my most passionate issues when it comes to time management, technology. Tip number 2 is to take control of your technology. Your technology is there to work for you, not to add stress. But how many people think their cell phone adds stress to their life? No, they're not being honest enough. Between social media, emails, text messages, phone calls, and everything in between, my phone, I'm surprised, does not smoke and catch on fire on a daily basis. Because if I allowed it to, that's all it would do. Group text messages, you name it, my phone would never stop. So one day I realized, guys, I want you to understand that cell phones have not created more anxiety and more stress because you have more to do. They have simply made you more available.
Yep, there you go.
And so what you need to understand is it's okay to set expectations to the rest of the world based on what you need to do. I'll give you a great example, okay? With your cell phone. If you are sitting there checking your emails and text messages and Facebook page and Twitter and everything in between all day long, could you not sit there and do that all day and never get anywhere? Yeah. Just out of curiosity, those of you that have cell phones, how many of you have at least 1,000 emails on your phone's email box? Raise your hand. Does that mean you're really important? I mean, I don't have 1,000 emails. I must not be that important. Or is it because you set up your iPhone, your mail starts rolling in, and then you don't know how to control it. The flood is in. And then the emails are just coming. What happens? You lose control of your email box. What is in your email box? Junk mail and everybody else's problems. Very rarely do I check my email and it goes, wow, there's a wonderful thing for me. I'm a leader. My email box is chock full of everybody else's problems. From employees to students to you name it, right? Y'all know that feeling, don't you? And when you lose control of your email inbox, what happens is it adds stress, the anxiety of just knowing there's 1,000 emails sitting in there. Someday I need to go through those. Well, why not today? I'll tell you how you do it. It starts real simple. Log into your email. I'm going to do a real tech tip here. Something you can actually do. If you use Gmail or Yahoo or Hotmail, whatever it is, log in when you have time on your laptop, on your desktop. Go to the actual email web app. Search for all of your just promotional emails, all of that stuff. And then instantly delete it. Because let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. If you have a coupon from the shoe store that they sent you 6 months ago, that expired 6 months ago, why are you saving space in your life for that email? You're never going going to check it. You're never going to use it. And nobody in here thinks that you're more important because you have 1,000 emails. So go through and delete it. And if you just can't do that because you might have a hoarding issue with your emails, all modern email boxes have a function called archive. When you archive them, they're out of your inbox. And if one day, which you'll never do and you'll see, you want to find it, it's still there, but it's out of your inbox. A great leader knows this, and I want you to hear this clearly. A great leader does not use their email as a to-do list. Because that goes against what we just talked about. Because what's in my email are issues for other people. That is important. But it's everybody else's needs and wants that I need to serve, right? But if I use that as my task list, and if I sat at my desk during my block of time where I just put work on my schedule, well, I can sit there and answer emails for 4 hours, kind of turn around in circles, and then I didn't get done what really needs to get done. So what you understand is you block out a time in your schedule every day to handle emails, and you clear them out. Every single day. You do that, you are going to be amazed how much time you have. You're going to miss it. And the reason you're going to miss it is because emails were an excuse to do something busy rather than something important. Everybody understand that? That's the truth. People spend time on their emails because it makes them feel busy. But they're not doing what's important. Or some people are having the guts to be honest and go, that might be me. Right? So guys, let me just tell you, I have a schedule for my emails. It's usually 2 or 3 times a day, depending on what's going on. And everyone that emails me, please test this, gets a detailed, thoughtful response every day within 12 hours of when they sent it. And I clear out my inbox to where every evening I have what's called inbox zero. There's nothing in my inbox. And it's not because I'm not important. It's because I get it done. I delegate it to who needs to get it. I delete it if it's not important, and then I move on to tomorrow. So every day when I wake up and I look at my cell phone, it might say 3, 4, 8, 9, 12, 50, but I know I have 12 or 50 to get to today, not 1,000, and get that stressful response. Your technology should be working for you. You can set it up in a free email like Gmail where you get different folders where automatically promotional emails go, where automatically social emails go, where automatically, for me that runs a school that has hundreds of programs going on, where blog posts go, message board questions, student questions, and when I have it in my schedule, I go to that tab that needs that attention and clear it all out. I do not stare at my emails all day. I'm not doing it in front of you. How rude would that be? Because it's not important. Most important things you have determined by having the guts to set the goals and the vision for what you need to do every day. So the last thing that I'll mention, guys, if you want to make sure that you don't miss anything, please make sure to share the podcast. Make sure you leave us a review on iTunes. Make sure that you subscribe to the email list. Everything that you want to do, you can find on thechrisdonaldson.com/project. So everything I just described, you can access at thechrisdonaldson.com/project. Because remember, there are many Chris Donaldsons across the web, but there's only one, the Chris Donaldson. We'll see you next time on the Chris Donaldson Project. What's up there, podcast audience, or my project listeners? It's the Chris Donaldson here. Thank you for listening to another episode all the way through of the Chris Donaldson Project. This is truly a passion project for me, and I hope it's helping you guys out. So again, as your call to action, make sure that you are joining the email list and you're getting involved in the community.
It's not about spamming you. It's about developing relationships one by one, me and you, as we grow this project. You want to get in early before it gets crazy. So again, all you've got to do is text project to the number 444-999. Again, text project to 444-999. Join the email list, and I will see you guys on the next episode of The Project.
Turn up, let's go.